If you've never lived in Alaska, it's hard to understand how silent the night gets out here. Not quiet, silent. The kind of silence where your own breathing sounds too loud. Like something out there might hear it. My name's Caleb Anders, and I grew up in a tiny stretch of road near Eklutna, a place most people only know because of the old spirit houses in the woods. Folks say the land remembers everything, especially the things it shouldn't. I always thought those were just stories old people told to warn kids. But in January 2014, I learned the land remembers, and sometimes it talks back. Let me take you to the night everything changed. Tourists vanish all the time in Alaska. It's huge, wild, unforgiving. But this one was different. Her name was Lena Martinez, a 27-year-old photographer from Arizona. She checked into a small Airbnb cabin near the Alaska Pass Trail, planning to capture the northern lights. Everything was normal. She posted pictures on Instagram that evening. Pink skies, frozen lake, auroras starting to form. Then, around 11:14 p.m., she sent her last text to a friend. "Someone is outside my cabin. I thought it was a moose, but it's just standing there, not moving." That was it. No more messages, no more posts, no more Lena. Search teams found her footprints leading into the woods, and another set of prints right beside hers. But here's the problem. The prints weren't boots. They weren't animal paws. They looked barefoot in negative 20-degree weather. I wasn't a cop, not a ranger, just a local who knew the land better than most. My uncle, Raymond, joined the search. He'd hunted these woods for 40 years. Tough man, the kind who didn't scare easy. But when he came back from the first sweep, his face was pale. He told me, "Caleb, there's something off about this one. Something I've never felt before." He wouldn't elaborate, but he asked me to help check an area farther up the ridge where GPS signals fall apart. He said he didn't want to go alone, and that scared me more than anything. We reached Lena's cabin around 6 p.m. Darkness had already swallowed everything. The snow reflected our flashlights in little stabbing flashes. The cabin door wasn't broken, not forced, just left open, like someone walked out calmly. Inside, there were signs of panic: a knocked-over chair, spilled tea, a jacket left behind. But one thing froze my blood. On the frost-covered window were finger marks, long, smeared, almost dragging downward. But the fingers were too long, way too long. I remember whispering, "That's not hers." Raymond didn't reply for a long time. Then, "Caleb, close the door. Now." His voice was shaking. When you live in Alaska, you learn a rule. If you hear whistling in the woods, you don't answer. It's an old native warning, something about spirits mimicking human sounds to lure you deeper. At first, we thought it was the wind, a low, eerie rolling over the tree line. Then it got clearer, sharper, higher, like someone was trying to whistle through cracked lips. Raymond's flashlight trembled in his hand. "That's what I heard earlier," he muttered. "That same damn sound." It kept getting closer, not fast, just steady, deliberate. The whistling wasn't random. It was tuned, like someone trying to imitate a song, a lullaby. Raymond grabbed my arm. "Don't look out the window," he said firmly. "Don't give it your attention." But I didn't listen, and I made the biggest mistake of my life. The woods outside were pitch dark except for the moonlight, and in that faint glow, I saw a shape. Tall, thin, wrong. It was standing between the trees, just barely visible, not moving, just watching. I couldn't see its face, just a long black silhouette with arms too low, hanging almost to its knees. I whispered, "Uncle Ray, what is that?" But he didn't look. He kept his eyes glued to the cabin floor. "Caleb, we're leaving. Now." We stepped outside slowly. The whistling stopped. The silence was worse. Raymond whispered, "Don't run unless I tell you to." I nodded. We walked through the snow, trying not to breathe too loudly. Every crunch felt explosive. Then, behind us, something exhaled. Not human, not animal. Something deep, raspy, wet. Raymond hissed, "Run!" And we did. The trees blurred. The cold sliced my lungs. Footsteps thundered behind us, not fast, but heavy, like something huge dragging its weight. We didn't look back. That's the rule. Until Raymond slipped. The thing in the trees. He fell hard, hitting his shoulder on a stump. I grabbed him, pulling him up, and that's when I heard it. A voice. Right behind us. But it wasn't speaking. It was copying our footsteps, repeating the same rhythm we made, like an echo in the wrong direction. And then it whispered. Not words, just a broken attempt at human breath. Len. My entire body turned to ice. Raymond shoved me. "Go, Caleb!" But I refused. Together, stumbling, barely keeping balance, we made it to the snowmobile. I kicked the ignition. The thing reached the tree line. Still tall, still wrong, still watching. And as we sped away, it started whistling again. The same lullaby, the same pattern. Like it knew us now. Like it remembered our sound. We reached the ranger station around midnight. Raymond was shaking, breathless, sweaty despite the cold. But here's the thing. Raymond wasn't a man who scared easily. He once fought off a bear with nothing but a fire poker. But whatever we saw, it broke something in him. The investigation. 2 state troopers questioned us. We told them everything. The prints, the whistling, the shadow. They exchanged looks that said, "We're not buying this." Then they pulled up a tablet and showed us photos from Lena's last known location. My stomach dropped. The bare footprints we saw, they weren't new. There were old ones too. Weeks old, months old. Reports from hikers claiming something followed them. A missing hunter who left a voicemail whispering, "It's copying me. It knows my voice." All of these cases happened within 5 miles of Alaska Pass. Whatever we encountered, it had been there a long, long time. Raymond's decline. In the days after, Raymond changed. He stopped sleeping, stopped eating, drawn curtains, jumped at small noises. Whenever the wind blew, he whispered, "Don't whistle back. Don't whistle back." He told me a story the 3rd night. "When I was young," he said, A local elder warned me about something called the mimic of the past, a spirit that copies the living, footsteps, voices, even breathing. It lures people by sounding familiar. I asked if he believed it. He nodded slowly. And it marks anyone who sees it. The recording. On the fourth night, something happened that I still wish I could forget. My phone buzzed at 2:43 a.m. A voicemail from an unknown number. I played it. Static, cold wind, and then a whistle. My blood froze, because it wasn't a random whistle. It was the same lullaby from the woods. Then a slow inhale, a slow exhale, and a voice whispering, "Caleb." I dropped the phone. Raymond burst into the room. "You heard it, didn't you?" I nodded. "It knows us now," he said, "and it won't stop." The final search. Days later, the troopers organized one last sweep for Lena. Raymond insisted on joining. I begged him not to. He said, "Something took that girl, and if I don't help bring her home, I'll never sleep again." We went together. Snow was falling hard, visibility low, the kind of snowfall where you can't tell ground from sky. Our group split into 3. Raymond and I took the northern line. Around dusk, we found something half buried in the snow. Not Lena, a camera. Lena's camera. Still on, still recording. The camera footage. What we saw next didn't feel possible. The video showed Lena inside her cabin, trembling, holding the camera toward the window. You could hear the whistling faintly. She whispered, "Someone is trying to get me to come outside." Then, long fingers appeared on the window. She screamed. The door burst open, not broken, opened slowly, as if someone pushed it with careful, deliberate intent. The camera toppled, falling sideways. Lena backed up into a corner, and from the doorway, a tall black silhouette stepped inside. Long arms, no visible face, just darkness. Then the camera cut. Raymond closed the screen, breathing hard. "We're leaving," he said. "Now." But it was already too late. The final encounter. As we hurried back toward the main group, the snowfall turned violent. Wind howled, trees bent, visibility dropped to nothing. And then the whistle returned. Louder, clearer, closer. Raymond grabbed my arm. "Caleb, don't move." Snow crunched. Slow, heavy footsteps circled us. Something breathed by my ear. Something tall. Something wrong. And then the voice came. "Raymond." Raymond broke. He started screaming at it, yelling for it to leave, cursing at it, threatening it. The footsteps stopped. The woods went dead silent. Then the wind shifted, and Raymond's own voice repeated back to us, "Leave, leave, leave." Raymond sobbed, "It has my voice now." What really happened? We found the search party 10 minutes later. Raymond never spoke again. Doctors said trauma, shock, maybe frostbite affecting the brain. But I knew better. He wasn't afraid of what happened. He was afraid of what was still following him. He died 6 months later in his sleep. The official report said heart failure. But the night he died, neighbors heard whistling outside his window. Where is Lena? Her body was never found, but every winter on the Alaska Pass Trail, hikers still report hearing footsteps that match their own, whistling that mimics their breath, voices calling their name. And once, a tourist claimed she saw a young woman wandering barefoot through the snow, but when she called out to her, the woman bent her neck at an impossible angle and whistled. If you ever come to Alaska, if you ever visit Eklutna, or hike the pass, or stay near the woods, remember one rule. If you hear someone whistle in the snow, don't answer, don't look, and for God's sake, don't follow the sound. Because out here, not everything that sounds human is human.